All right, Doc. Welcome to the Play Space podcast. I was trying to do a, I was trying to get us live on Facebook. I think we might be, and so welcome, my brother. How you doing?
All the way live, man. I'm with you. How are you feeling today?
All the way live.
That's no
jive. So we got a nice weather break, Doc. I see you got we feeling like spring and summer. We got the energy, we're feeling good. The world is topsy-turvy, but we're going to be all right. For the first time seeing us, I am Mark Clark, and this is the Dr. Gregory Bell. Doc, so tell us about yourself, Doc. For some people, it's the first time we've been live on Facebook, and, this is about our 6th or 7th podcast. So tell us about who Dr. Gregory Bell is. Who is this well-dressed silver fox of a brother?
Mark, I am a native Washingtonian, and I'm one who has had a blessed life in the world of academics, in the world of athletics, in the world of administration. My major field of study was early and middle childhood education, because I believe that in each adult is a child who wants to play.
All right.
So hence, play space.
I love it. Look at you, Doc, with the brevity today. A little brevity in and out. Well, and for those who don't know, I'm Mark Clark. I am a 30-year radio veteran. I am, on a journey to be the best person that I can be. And we have Play Space. This is a place where two grown men can not only celebrate life, but talk about issues we think are important. At the end of the day, we want to make this world a better place in which to live. Correct, Doc?
You got it. Play space all day long, 24/7, 365.
So, Doc, up first, we got Sharon Osborne, who was a member of the show The Talk. She has now left. She's left the building, probably pushed out, if we're honest. Basically, there was a lot of backlash. For those who don't know, she basically, after Harry and Meghan Mark and what's my girl's name? Anyway, I'm talking about. Harry and Meghan were on with Oprah. There was a backlash. The castle was basically, I think, not happy with what was said in the interview. Meghan Markle talked about conversations that she heard and that bothered her about the possible color of their child. She felt that there was a smear campaign by the media. And so she that's a protected place. So the castle's not used to anybody talking reckless about the castle. They basically left. They came to the United States. They basically have decided to live their own life. And because of that, they were stripped of many things. It's a very bold move. And so in the UK, on their news service, Piers Morgan had a lot to say about it. And Piers Morgan, basically, who, he was not happy with what they said. He allegedly is not a fan of Meghan Markle. And it kind of, it blew up on morning television to the point where he walked out and quit. And so on The Talk, they were talking about it. Now, Piers Morgan had been on The Talk before, and, he has a great relationship. He's a close friend with Sharon Osborne, but, Sharon Underwood basically told him about himself, and they weren't that close. So here we have Sharon Osborne, in a sense, defending her friend, Piers Morgan, and it led to a conversation about race. And Doc, anytime we talk about race, it seems like in America, things start to get shaky. And so if this is just a reminder, if you didn't hear the exchange, here's a bit of the exchange. Obviously, that's not the exchange. That's a hot beat. So we gotta wait for the beat to stop. But it was one of those things, Doc, where we talked about off the air. America is so sensitive about race that you can't even talk about it. I mean, when you bring it up, people start to kind of like, react and get defensive. And Doc, from an education standpoint, is there a name for that? Is there something, technical that when you have an issue, but people are afraid to talk about it? Is there something in that space? Is this defined like that?
Yeah, I think when we talk about racism, just think about the ism itself, race. When you talk about highly sensitive issues, one of the things that W.E.B. Du Bois talked about is that the number one issue in the 21st century was going to be the issue of race. And if we think about our society in terms of where we are today, Mark, and when we think about our listening audience, institutional racism is a terminology that they use. And sometimes they interchange that with a terminology called structural racism. And what that really means in layperson terms is it's when systematically there is an intentional action taken against one race in the area of what you practice that turns into policies that impact people in the place in which they are. So in terms of play space, as we think about that issue of play space, and the play space in which we talk about, that was a private kind of experience that they were talking about very openly about the potential pigmentation or color of a child, a new birth, a child's skin. And if you think about that, racism in and of itself, and you talk about what that means in terms of the impact and how that translates into real life, it then became public. And Oprah, being one of the most outstanding interviewers in the whole wide world that we live in, was impacted in a way that she had to do what we call in professional terms, she had to probe based on the response that Megan had provided. Meaning that inside conversation of a family then is brought into the public about the discussion of some things that happen in some people's homes related to the racial conversation, which is a highly sensitive issue that when people are what we call overt, and that means they openly talk about it, about issues that have been covert for a long time, what people are reacting to is that the truth hurts, but it will set you free. And they are truly free by their openness.
And so it's crazy because they're free here, and it's actually opened up another page, I guess, for the Queen, and what they have to deal with. So we do have some comments here. What's up, May? I see May has joined. Yolanda, Patricia, Deborah says, good afternoon, Mark and everyone. Patricia says, no, Osborne shouldn't leave. She asked to be schooled on racism, but then she leaves because the show executives want to investigate. Okay, Patricia, I see that. Lynn says, I believe her arrogance, and I need to be right without question in what led to her dismissal, and rightfully so. How dare she weaponize her tears and admonish Cheryl? She better not cry. The complete audacity of it all. People are chiming in on this, Doc, and I do have some audio. I have some audio of the exchange. Now, there's a comment in the audio because I pulled this off the internet, and the comment is not either one of us. Somebody says something like punch her in the face, which that's not us, but this show is a little ghetto sometimes, Doc. So okay.
Mark, they're going for the TKO. They're going for the TKO so in the first round.
Here's a bit of the audio. Many have seen it, but this is a refresher.
I feel even like I'm about to be put in the electric chair because I have a friend who many people think is a racist, so that makes me a racist. And for me, at 68 years of age, to have to turn around and say, I ain't racist. What's it got to do with me?
Okay.
And don't try and cry, because if anyone should be crying, it should be me. This is the situation.
Yeah.
You tell me where you have heard him say, educate me. Tell me.
Sharon, please punch her
where
in her
you
mouth.
have heard him say racist things. Educate me. Tell me.
It is not the exact words of racism. It's the implication and the reaction to it. To not want to address that because she is a Black woman and to try to dismiss it or to make it seem less than what it is. That's what makes it racist. But right now, I'm talking to a woman who I believe is my friend. And I don't want anybody here to watch this and say that we're attacking you for being racist. And for that, if I articulated
I think it's
anything,
too late. I think that seed's already sown.
But that is why I'm saying for me. I'm saying for me. I thought I was asking a question about the perception for other people. That's why I prefaced it with, I've never heard you utter anything racist,
Cheryl,
but I have felt that Pierce was racist in his stance against Meghan Markle. And the last time he was on this show, I said as much. I said it when.
And so, Doc, the thing that I noticed that Black folks do, you know, it's interesting. It's like what we do and what other people don't do.
Right.
Sharon is not even from the United States.
Right.
That has nothing to do. That really has nothing to do with what I'm about to say. I don't know why I said that, but anyway, what I'm trying to say, Doc, is Cheryl took the high road. You know, she took the high road because Sharon made it all about her. You know, and I think people can't. It's hard for white folks around the world to put things in perspective. And I think, you know who else has a hard time doing that? Men in regard to women, we have a hard time doing that. You know, we go from our perspective, not looking at the whole picture from the other side. And so when you're like, when Sharon said, don't you cry, I should be the one who's crying because blah, 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 blah. That right there tells you that she's only thinking about herself and not looking at the picture. And you said it best, Doc, when you're talking about race and the UK and the royal family, and Meghan is telling her story as the mother of this child, you just discount all that. Piers Morgan discounts it. Sharon discounts it. All those people who are riding for the king and queen and the royal family, you're discounting her own personal story and how she felt. And that's the part that's very interesting about the exchange. And back to what we, in the initial question, like, why can't we talk about race in America? I think one of the reasons is, first of all, America never wants to acknowledge the history. And that's it, Doc. If you don't acknowledge the past, you can't really contextualize anything else, because every argument, every sentiment is really based on that past. It doesn't just exist by itself.
So, right? Mark, I think when we talk in those contexts, first of all, thanks for those call-ins. Hey, our audience is off the hook. Here's the deal. TLC. Sometimes we call that acronym tender, loving care. But in this case, I would call it teachable, learnable, coachable moment. And how do we contextualize that in the conversation? Here it is. As we begin to think about white America, to be able to be called a racist, if 10 is high and 1 is low, it's a -10. It impacts them at the heart of their thoughts, of their words, of their action, of their habit, their character, and their destiny. They have, in athletic terms, words that are offensive, provide for a defensive response.
That's true.
And what I mean in that layperson term is that she does not want to be associated with a person who has used a racial slur or analogy that has become public and now is at the core of the conversation about the real issue of the 21st century, which is racism. By the way, audience, institutional racism ain't going nowhere. It's like the Temptation said, people moving in, people moving out. Why? Because of the color of the skin. Run, 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 but you sure can't hide. I'm glad that racism is now an overt conversation and the hurt brings about pain. But in the conversation, I hope that people are gainfully uplifted because he or she will not be able to run from the conversation because it's here, there, and everywhere.
We got Monica Renee Whitaker says she should be out, not because we can't talk about race, but because she can't properly talk to people. Good point. Someone else says, good old American reverse psychology. What's up, Patricia? What's up, Coley? Yolanda, Edward, what's up, Ed? Rick Davis is in the house. It's Tisha. So yeah, Doc, I mean, and the funny part about it is, it's not funny. I mean, I think the older you get, this has just been around so long that there's a part of you that wants to believe that we'll have progress, but there's another part of you that's, you know what I mean? You're not shocked. You're not. There's a bit of apathy, I think, and that's probably not good. You know what I mean? But we've seen so much. And we've seen so much, we've heard so much, we've seen kind of the same reactions. We see this outrage, and then the outrage goes away after a couple of days. Especially Black folks, I think it has created a certain kind of apathy, I think, that's probably not good, where we don't keep on pushing. We just let it go. You know, we gotta go, okay, I'm going to go back to my job, go back about my business. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So we don't really keep pushing or demanding certain things. So Doc, as we wrap that up, again, Doc, you're a little older than me, man. I'm coming on 55, bruh. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to hit 65, but I'm not older. I'm golder. Put a G in front of that because that's the Greg. The much is given, much is required, expected of my gift. I'm golder, baby. I ain't got no older in me.
So Doc, okay. So as the senior here on the show, give us some parting words, man, as we move, because it's always going to be positive with us. We're always going to look up and not look down. Right. We're all going to go for a brighter day, but how do we keep it in perspective to move forward?
So Mark, I would say to our audience that it really comes down to full disclosure. As we begin to think about focus on your vision, not your sight, pursue excellence, being my mantra, it really is the way that I see the world. See, your learning style is a direct reflection of your worldview. And the way I view the world, I view it a little differently because at 8 years old, almost 57 years ago, I knew I was labeled legally blind. But if you define you, then you have a definition of who you are and from where you come. Where we're going is that I'm now beginning to think about my 17-month-old grandson, Black male in America. Given what we saw on January 6th, institutional racism is not going anywhere. But I'm going to teach him the golden rule because, see, language is acquired through exposure. So the language that he will hear from me is that you can be what you want to be. You can achieve whatever you want, and you can do whatever you want. And sticks and stones may, at times, try to break your bones, but the words that people use will not hurt you because of your inner strength. And it's a vertical relationship that he's going to have with his faith leader. So the golden rule that he's going to hear from me is treat people the way you want to be treated, with fairness, understanding, and respect. Because people react when they're treated unfairly, when there's a misunderstanding and a sense of disrespect. And so Aretha Franklin, the girlfriend I never met, RESPECT. We respect our place space audience. Great shout outs. Y'all coming highly gifted with that thought process, but we know that change is going to take time. because with practices come policy, and we're going to change it together as the people.
All right, Dr. Gregory Bell, I'm Mark Clark. This is Play Space. Check us out. Go to Play Space, our channel on YouTube. And of course, Doc's website is Pursue Excellent. And mine is reinventingmarkclark.com. Have a great weekend. Those who watch on Facebook, have a great weekend. Those who are watching it, whenever you're watching it, even if it ain't the weekend. And we'll see you next time on the Play Space podcast. Check us out anywhere you get podcasts, the audio version. And then, of course, like I said, on YouTube and our websites for the video versions. All right. Have a great one. Peace.
Peace.